Freedom Planet is a fast-paced Sonic-like platformer that sped its way across multiple platforms before arriving at the Nintendo Switch. When I say Sonic-like, this is, indeed, Freedom Planet's closest and most glaring inspiration. From its 1990s 16-bit visuals to gripping loop-the-loops, Freedom Planet shares more than a little level design to its speeding blue counterpart. What sets Freedom Planet apart from most retro-inspired games is fully voice-acted story. The voice acting is top notch and the story has a great variety of characters. The downside to this is that, while being great visually and the voice acting being strong, overall the story just is a little bit drawn out in length and didn't quite grip me in the way I thought it would. Taking a sort of typical anime storyline, I do however give it merit for the chemistry between the main characters, who often have a little bit of a goofy side at times. Freedom Planet gives you the freedom, no pun intended, to start the game in classic mode, omitting all story and focusing just on the levels, an arms wide open addition, especially to someone like me who played it when it released back on the Wii U. The gameplay is rather good in Freedom Planet, starting you off by choosing your character, who all control differently, from Lilac with her boost power to Carol who can cling to walls and even brings her motorcycle in action from time to time. The levels are designed quite well, but as a whole the action comes grinding to a halt sometimes, as pacing issues are dotted around every once in a while. Whereas Lilac is glaringly fast, she also very rarely has a chance to have a straight run, as a wall will stop you dead in your tracks. Combat is where Freedom Planet takes a few steps away from the Blue Bloods' influence. Rather than focusing on bouncing off enemies' heads or spinning through them, Freedom Planet is more of a full combat style, with an action button allowing your characters to punch or kick your way through the enemies. The same kind of goes for the baddies, as you can actually stand over them and they won't hurt you unless they're actually doing an attack animation. The stages in Freedom Planet are a little bit on the long side and can take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to complete depending on how you play them. And while being split into some smaller sort of checkpoint sections, and there's also a sub boss in the middle and a big boss at the end, they're just too drawn out and get a little tiresome. I'd much prefer each level to be broken up into zones or acts, a bit more bite-sized and easier to digest. Speaking of boss fights, each one is inventive in the way that you attack them and they all have great unique designs. However, some of them just feel a little bit unfair at times, and steep random difficulty spikes once again bring the flow of Freedom Planet to a halt. As far as the level settings go, there's some unique and varied locations that the levels take place in, from shopping malls to airships. Each one comes with its own flair and mechanics that make the levels really stand out. The music and sound effects are also pretty good in Freedom Planet, and while you won't be whistling any of the songs afterwards, they do fit the gameplay perfectly with their instant charm. All of the other sound effects are fittingly retro, from chimes of crystals to charging boost noises, everything hits the nostalgic feeling perfectly. Overall, Freedom Planet is a competent platformer in its own right, however pacing issues and difficulty curves stop it from being truly amazing. Fans of the Sega Genesis games and early 90s platformers may enjoy its nostalgic-inducing stages, and there's plenty that Freedom Planet has to offer, including the multiple characters and unlockables to find along the way.